If you can't tell, we suck at camera stuff. Okay, that's it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I was really hoping I would not be continuing this saga. However, some things are out of my control, unfortunately. So yes, today is going to be another unfortunate ghost story from my life. This is all a series of events that really creeped me out. So no matter how insignificant these events feel, just know they tie together, okay? I'm getting somewhere. Thank you. As per usual, it's kind of all over the place, and like I feel like all of these events tie together, but like you guys can let me know down below what you think, if you think they're all related, if you think again that I'm crazy. That's possible. Brielle and I decide to go to Ikea. This is where we have a lot of fun. We're doing our shopping, having a good time, no big deal. We get to this one room and I am just having the time of my life. I'm a huge Ikea stan. Anyone else with me? It's a great place. Their meatballs, their food, the furniture is good. Looking at different rooms that are already set up, it's just fun. It's fun. No one can tell me otherwise, okay? So we're having a blast walking around Ikea. We were there for furniture, but anyways. We passed this one room and Brielle all of a sudden goes, oh.
Okay, what? Also, first of all, hashtag not spawn, because Haley just really went ham for Ikea.
I live for Ikea. Okay, that was a little dramatic. Brielle like jumps a little bit and goes, whoa. And I was like, what? And she looked at this one room and it was this desk set up with like a sewing machine, and it was basically supposed to be someone's like sewing room, basically, because if you know Ikea, they have set up rooms. I don't know who doesn't know Ikea, but just in case, they have set up rooms. And this was a sewing room. And the desk was perfectly facing us. And she said she saw a woman sitting there in the chair with like some sort of like hat or headpiece, something on. And she saw it and looked at me to tell me and looked back and she was gone. And she told me this. And okay, if you know my channel, obviously, I'm a believer, okay? I'm a believer in these things, but I have to be honest. I looked at her and I was like, Brielle, we're in Ikea. This is not funny.
This can't be happening in Ikea.
I was like, no. I was like, Brielle, we're in Ikea. I'm sorry to break it to you, but there's no ghosts in Ikea. And so I kind of shrugged it off and she was like, no, I swear. Like, you know I don't make things up. You know that I don't see things. Like, I swear I saw her. And I was like, okay. Anyways, Brielle started to feel pretty uneasy after that, and she was telling me, I do not have a good feeling. I'm stressed out. I feel anxious. My stomach like feels like, you know, that uneasy feeling. And I was trying to shrug it off, but then I slowly started to feel that way too. But I was trying to say like maybe it was like the food I ate or the drink, I don't know. But we both started feeling like really uneasy. And so whatever, we're trying to go about our shopping still. We're on the bottom floor. We are almost done with our shopping and we're looking at light bulbs, right? And so then we're done and we're trying to leave pretty quickly because we're like 10-20 minutes from closing time. So we're trying to move very fast. We're walking very fast down the aisle. And might I add, we didn't notice anyone in front of us. And so we're walking very fast and then all of a sudden someone in front of us just dead stops. And it like stops us in our track and we're like, what the heck? And we look. And then I'm gonna reenact this, okay? The only way I can describe her movements are like, and the way Brielle describes them is like unhuman. I don't like to say that. I don't like to think that personally. It's like if you watch a scary movie, like the way a demon moves in a scary movie, that's how she was moving. So she stops and then all of a sudden shoots her head down like this. I kid you not, right? Okay, shoots her head down like that and then throws her arms out and then is like, and then like is moving like this, like you know, like very robotic and like creepy as fuck, okay? And then goes like this, and then just like keeps doing that kind of stuff. It was horrifying. It was uncomfortable. I like first thought she was praying and then did not think she was praying anymore because it was like that creepy and uncomfortable. So as she's doing that, me and Brielle are like, what the fuck? And so we go to move around her because we don't want to be behind this woman. I don't know what is wrong with her, but like we need to go. Also, let me describe this woman. She's wearing a beanie and a sweatshirt and has a cart in front of her that's completely empty. Almost at the checkout, it was almost closing time and her cart was completely empty, and now she's doing this. It was weird. And so Brielle is like staring straight at her, like head turned, walking around her. I am in my head was just like, don't look at her, like don't look at her, don't look at her. And so like I'm so creeped out and uncomfortable that like I turned around to see like, is anyone else like seeing this? Like is someone gonna talk to this woman? And so like I turn and I look at the workers and everyone around us, and like no one else around us is stopping, no one else around us is looking at her. The only people who even made a weird face were the workers, the employees of Ikea, and they were looking at us for looking around weird. Like they were looking at us crazy for stopping. Like the only way I can describe this is like as if we were the only ones seeing her. And I'm telling you, this was so creepy and disturbing that if anyone had seen this, 110% they would be staring at her. I'm telling you, I did not see a single other person staring at her, not one. And like she was making a scene. It was completely uncomfortable. So we left the room, and then in my head I was like, well, maybe they weren't looking at her because like me, like I didn't want to look at her. So like maybe they were gonna like talk about it when they got into the next room. And so we got to the next room, and then I looked behind us to see if A, she follows us, and B, anyone else comes in. And she didn't come after us, or not after us. She didn't follow us or anything. She didn't come into the next room, and everyone else who came into the next room wasn't talking about it, wasn't acting weird, wasn't surprised. It's literally like no one else saw her. It was weird. So me and Brielle are like visibly shaken about this, and are like, whatever, we need to just leave because that was like uncomfortable. Like we both just felt like bad vibes from it. And might I add, this woman, Brielle said, looked just like the woman who was sitting in the desk. It was the woman who was sitting in the desk, basically. So then we're like trying to leave. And as we're like walking to like the register, we passed this like last shelf, like full of plants. And off the second shelf, mind you, these shelves have like a little bit of a rim so things can't fall. And as we're passing, we're like a few feet away from the shelf, not touching it, and a plant literally flies off the shelf. The second shelf flies off the shelf, and did it hit you?
It almost hit me. Like I jumped,
and landed like next to Brielle. It almost hit her. Like it came feet and almost hit her. And me and Brielle stop in our tracks, and we're looking at each other like, this can't be happening right now. Like this is 3 things in a row. Like, and I'm like, what the hell? And I like immediately, I'm like, did you touch that plant? And she was like, no, like how could I have touched it? And I was like, well, obviously I'm on the other side. I couldn't have touched it. And I looked at the employee to see if she saw anything, and she's just looking at us like we're crazy. And so we're just like, let's go, let's go, let's go. So we like get all of our stuff, and like we leave right as the store is closing. And I look behind us, and like there's just like the same crowd of people we had been seeing when we walked around was all leaving behind us because they were closed, so everyone had to get out. And I looked and I scanned that crowd, and that woman was not in the crowd. I don't know. So we get home and we're like shaken up about it. So Brielle's upstairs, and I'm like, let's build the furniture, you know? So I go into the garage by myself to go grab the furniture from the car. Okay, so note this. I can tell when something's wrong or something's in the house because I will feel scared in the house when I'm walking around by myself. And I haven't felt that in months. And I went down and I went into the garage, and the second I went into the garage, I felt so scared and overwhelmed that like my chest felt like it physically tightened. Like I felt like I couldn't breathe. Like that's how scared I was. And I was freaked out. And I'm telling you, I haven't felt this way in months. And that's when I knew like something is up. And so I bring the furniture up. I try to shrug it off. And then I realized I forgot to grab scissors. So I'm like, no biggie, get over it, go grab some scissors. So I went downstairs by myself again. Brielle's still upstairs talking to her parents. I walked through the kitchen to the drawer, and I opened the drawer. And as I'm looking for the scissors, the only way to describe it is like I'm looking at this drawer, and like over here I can see like a shadow where the fridge is like casting a shadow from the kitchen light, like no biggie, normal shadow, and then just a whole bunch of light where the kitchen light is shining, right? And all of a sudden, all of that light next to the fridge was blocked out by like this shadow. It literally looked like something stepped next to the fridge behind me and blocked out the light. And I was so scared. Like I felt like chills down my body. Like I felt that chest tightening, like fight or flight instinct, and just like ran. Like I bolted upstairs. I didn't even like, I was so scared. I couldn't even physically close the drawer. That's how scared I was. So I ran upstairs and like, I was like, Brielle, like, this is not good. And so we went into her room and I'm telling her what just happened. And I'm like, this isn't good. Like, that's two things in a row back to back. Like something's wrong here. And as I'm telling her this, like we're looking at each other, like freaked out. Like I'm on the verge of tears, freaked out. And all of a sudden, oh my God, it was like a scary movie. Like as we're looking at each other, just like quiet, like scared, we hear right outside her door. Let me explain the setup. So upstairs is like my room, her room, and the bathroom. And then all the way across the upstairs is their parents' room.
It was 3 a.m.
Yeah, it was like, it was late at this time. It was like 3 a.m. No one's awake. And if they are awake, you can't really hear them. And if you can hear them, we know their voices, okay? Just know. As a person, you know the voices of people you live with, okay? Like pretty much. Even like if it's muffled, I know their voices. And so as we're looking at each other, we hear like a giggle, but it wasn't like a tee-hee, it was like a sinister little laugh. Like I swear it was like a straight, if you ripped it out of a scary movie. And we were the only other ones upstairs other than their parents, and their parents were asleep, and it was right outside the door. Like as if someone was right outside the door looking in. Like that's how clear it was. And so we heard like a woman's giggle.
Yeah, it wasn't a little kid giggle.
No, it was a grown woman, a grown woman's giggle. And then we heard like muffled like talking right outside the door. And then me and her look at each other and we're like, oh fuck no. And then we heard like singing, like humming right outside the door. Of a woman, of a voice I didn't know. Like neither of us knew the voice. And the only way I could describe the voice is just like eerie as hell, like wrong. And so we are freaking out at this point. And like I'm gonna reiterate for the millionth time, no one was outside that door, and their mother is the only other woman in this house, and she has a very distinct voice. Like you know her voice, you know her singing, you know her laugh, and it was not that. So yeah, I mean, after that, it kind of seemed to go away. I mean, their mother did a cleansing of the house. Like everything seemed to pretty much go back to normal. But yeah, so I don't know what it was. I've never had something only happen for like one night. But like I'm telling you, I deal with this stuff a lot, and this is 100% the most scared I have ever felt. You can look on my whole channel and I have so many videos of scary things that I've dealt with. And I'm telling you, this was #1, just to give perspective of how scary it was. This was the scariest thing I have dealt with. I was crying. I was like panicking. I didn't want to go to bed. I was like scared as hell. So, I mean, if anyone has an idea of like what this is, what this was, please go ahead and comment it down below. Luckily with this one, we don't have to deal with this anymore. So that's great. But yeah, so basically, I guess this was like bad series of events / something followed me home from Ikea? Question mark. It sounds literally crazy, but yes. Okay, so I just wanted to get on and film a quick update video for you guys. Please ignore the glare, by the way. So after I filmed that video, I was trying to get my stuff like packed up to move back upstairs, and the weirdest thing happened. So I was feeling that nauseous, anxious feeling that me and Brielle were feeling in Ikea all over again, and I was kind of freaking out about it. And then as me and Brielle are talking about how we both feel really sick and anxious and like our stomach feels uneasy, my ring light turned off, and then when we looked back, it turned back on. I've had this ring light since Christmas. I've never had an issue with it doing that before, so I don't know what on earth that was about. And then we were kind of like just sitting there thinking about what the heck, and I was supposed to be FaceTiming my friends pretty soon after, so I was like, oh my god, like I'm too creeped out to go upstairs. And then I looked upstairs and I'm like debating, like, should I go up, should I wait? And as I look upstairs, it's very hard to explain, but there's like this small opening you can see above the stairs where like the actual loft is, and I saw something run across like my eyesight up there and towards like my room. And I was just so freaked out by that and uncomfortable. And then me and Brielle are just like kind of panicking for like 5 to 10 minutes. I'm on the phone with my friends like, like this is what just happened. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know if I freaked something out with my whole story time or what. And as we're doing that, we hear someone in the office. So the office is right next to my room. I'm in my room right now. The office is right next to my room, and we heard like the door open and close and like someone moving around in there, and we were like, wait a minute, everyone's in bed right now. So me and Brielle finally mustered up the courage to go up, and so we went upstairs and we checked in the office and no one was in there. And like I said, no one was awake and no one was moving around. So I was like, what did I just do? So whatever, I went into my room, had the worst sleep of my life. I literally woke up every single hour, every hour. I slept like 9 hours, 8, 9 hours, and woke up every single hour the entire time. And what was super creepy is I woke up like multiple times within the hour of 3 a.m. If you're into spooky stuff, you understand why that's not fun for me, and I was super creeped out. But yeah, I woke up multiple times throughout the hour of 3 a.m. and I kept having nightmares. Every time I would go back to sleep, I would have a new nightmare. It was the worst sleep of my life. So whatever, the next day comes by, we're going about our lives, and then me and Brielle are talking, and I'm telling her what happened last night. And we came into my room because my window was open and I just wanted to close it. And as we're closing my window, we're hearing like talking. And I thought maybe it was people outside, so I closed the window and I'm still hearing it very clearly. And I was like, what is that talking? We look around and we realize it's coming from my computer. And the weird part about that is my computer was closed. So like, if you have a laptop, you probably know that like when you close your laptop, it may take a few seconds sometimes, but it doesn't play any music or anything. It kind of basically makes itself go to sleep. So I was like, how is it playing a video when it's fully shut, like completely shut? And so we go over and look, and it's playing this makeup video. And I was like, that's so weird. Because when I was getting ready that morning, I was using my phone to watch YouTube. I wasn't even watching YouTube on my computer. So the last time I had used my computer was last night. But when Bailey came up to go to bed at like 6 in the morning, I exited out of the video I was watching and then made my computer go to sleep and then fully shut it. So there was no way that it would have YouTube up and playing, and it wasn't even the video that I had last watched. I was watching like Mania MUA and it was Tati playing. So I was like, this makes zero sense. So I went into my search history to see if like maybe somehow I missed it and it was playing YouTube all night. And I looked and it had just started playing YouTube like 20 minutes earlier when Brielle came home and we were chatting. So I was like, why would it be hours without playing anything on my computer, and then while it's upstairs and no one's upstairs and it's by itself and it's closed and it's asleep, it opens YouTube and starts playing a Tati video? Like, that literally is impossible, completely impossible. So we're really on edge about that. And as we're talking about that, Brielle has this like necklace that has Saint Michael on it for her protection. And as we're talking about it, it like comes off the chain. The pendant comes off the chain. And so like, if you believe in that kind of stuff, I believe when it comes off the chain like that, it's like protecting you. So I didn't like that, but whatever. Again, we are like, whatever, we're gonna leave the room. We're done with this. We're not talking about it. Let's go. We get up and I look at my phone. And at first I was laughing because like, I guess I left Snapchat open. And so it took a picture and I was like, haha, that's funny. And I looked at it and the caption said like something stupid. I'll put the picture in here. And the caption said something like stupid. And I was like, haha, Brielle, look at this. Like I suddenly took a picture. And then I looked at the picture and it was this really weird angle of my bookshelf that like you'd have to be standing and like pointing it towards my bookshelf for it to take a picture. Really hard to explain. I hope this is making sense for you guys. But I was sitting down and it was like under my leg. So we recreated it and there's no way to take that picture without me being in the picture and with it being that like close up. So I'll try to insert a picture of the picture that was taken and what it looks like if I accidentally take a picture where I had left my phone. That just didn't add up. And then after that, Brielle said she heard her mom's voice throughout the house the next night, which is really uncomfortable and like kind of creepy. And she said it was at like 1 in the morning and her mom was asleep. And like when she thought about it more, it wasn't like something her mom would say and it like didn't fully sound like her mom, but kind of did. So she was really creeped out by that. I haven't experienced anything and I believe that my room is safe and there's nothing in my house anymore. But I just wanted to give you guys that update because it was just like super creepy and uncomfortable and I hated every second of it. So thanks for watching. Fingers crossed that this is where this series ends. So sorry to those who enjoy these story times. I don't enjoy living them, so I kind of don't want to deal with this anymore. But we'll see. I mean, it's not that I'm not open to good experiences. I'm definitely not open to bad ones. Like, I know how this IKEA experience felt and it was the most negative energy I have ever felt. So no more negative energy, only happy energy. And thank you to everyone who has subscribed, who's been liking, commenting. I love seeing you guys tell your own personal stories down there. I love like recommendations of videos I can do. Like, I just love when you guys engage with me in my comment section, and I appreciate all of you guys. I'm at 426 subscribers right now, so I appreciate and love every single one of you guys. So thank you so much for liking, watching, subscribing, everything, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.